Do you ever get to Thursday, stare at your to-do list and feel that punch to the gut? You started this week so sure. Admit, as ambitious women, we are wired to dream big. So we sit down on a Sunday night, feeling optimistic, and we make these huge promises to ourselves of what we're going to do. This week, I'll finally launch my whole website. I'll create a whole month's worth of content for Instagram. I'll launch my new offer. It feels good, right? But for us mums, especially those of us raising tweens and teens, this is exactly where the trap is set. The problem isn't your ambition, it's that we fail to do the basic maths on our real lives. We're not just dealing with business tasks. We're navigating big emotions, keeping the house clean, forgotten homework, last-minute rides, and endless decisions. So Monday comes and reality hits. A kid gets sick. You spend an hour negotiating screen time. Then you look up and suddenly it's 3 p.m. Your energy is gone and you haven't touched your list. By Wednesday, that overwhelm turns into dread. Your to-do list stops inspiring you and starts judging you. And that tiny, sneaky voice begins whispering, "Who am I to do this anyway? Why am I taking away time from my family for something that isn't even working? Are you sure you can do this?" Yeah, I know that feeling. But this isn't just about a bad week. This is a cycle, a confidence-killing cycle. One of the hidden confidence glitches that quietly drains your belief in yourself. So, how do we fix this? You've probably heard, just hustle harder. That's exhausting. And honestly, it's not true. The goal isn't to pretend to be productive, because sooner or later that will fall down. So it's to build real momentum from the inside out. And the secret is to think smaller, much, much smaller. I want you to embrace what I call tiny promises. A tiny promise is a commitment that is so small, it's almost impossible not to do it. We're not talking about breaking down a big goal even. We're talking about shrinking the step. Instead of write a blog post, your tiny promise is write one sentence. Instead of record a video, it's set up the tripod. Instead of do my bookkeeping, it's find one receipt. Tiny steps don't trigger perfectionism. They don't activate fear. They're small enough to feel safe. So that's why it's easier to get on them. And once you do them, you've kept a promise to yourself. You took a step. Let me tell you why this works. Because there's actual brain science behind it. The first thing is that starting is the hardest part. Beginning a task requires executive function, the part of the brain responsible for planning, prioritizing, decision-making, and emotional regulation. But when you're a mum, juggling teens, hormones, homework, and the dog being sick, your executive function is maxed out before you even sit down to work. So when your brain sees write a blog post or build my website, it interprets this as too heavy, too vague, and way too overwhelming. Your brain isn't resisting because you're not motivated. It's resisting because it literally doesn't have the cognitive. There's a psychological principle called the Zeigarnik effect, which basically tells us your brain is more motivated to finish a task that has already been started. This is why writing one sentence, finding one receipt, or just setting up the tripod very often leads to more. You didn't magically become more disciplined. Your brain simply switched from resistance to engagement. Number 3, Small starts reduce emotional resistance. Big steps trigger fear of failure, perfectionism, procrastination, imposter thoughts, and executive anxiety. Tiny steps bypass all of it. You don't need motivation to write one sentence. You don't need courage to take one deep breath. You just need a decision. And once you're in motion, the brain takes over, making momentum feel natural, not forced. If you want to go deeper into why keeping small promises matters so much, I actually have a whole video on that called How to Build Self-Trust as a Woman Running Her Own Business. I'll link it down below. In that video, I explain how self-trust is the foundation beneath confidence, the part no one sees, but the part that holds everything up. Confidence says, I can do this, but self-trust says, I can handle it, even if I mess up. I also talk about how breaking promises to yourself destroys self-trust, and how tiny, repeatable, almost laughably small actions and promises rebuild it, brick by brick. It's the exact same principle we're talking about here, just zoomed in. So if you want to understand the deeper emotional and psychological layers of this, I'll link that video below for you. The confidence account. Think of your confidence like a bank account. For years, you've been writing huge checks with these big, ambitious weekly goals. And because life happens, those checks bounce. Every time you overcommit and underdeliver, you make a withdrawal. Tiny promises are how you start making deposits again. Each tiny promise you keep becomes evidence that I can follow through, I can trust myself, I'm capable. This is the same confidence competence loop the imposter detox guides lay out, the one that's hitting home for you if you're tired of the burnout and the overwhelm and you're craving steadier, grounded progress. Hit subscribe. We talk about this here. I'd love to have the community. And if you want to go deeper, I created a free guide called the Imposter Detox, because imposter syndrome thrives inside the overcommitment trap. Inside, you'll learn how to spot your imposter patterns, how to shut down the rude inner voice, and how to build confidence through small, doable steps, even on your busiest weeks. You can grab it in the description. The 2-minute momentum method. I can already hear you. I don't even have time for a tiny promise. I get it. That's why I want to give you the 2-minute momentum method. The goal isn't to complete a whole task. It's to stay connected to your identity as a business owner for just 120 seconds. In 2 minutes, you can write down one idea, read one paragraph, send one message, take a deep breath at your desk, and remember your why. 2 minutes a day is more powerful than 2 hours once a month because it keeps your business alive. That feeling of being stuck and constantly behind, that doesn't have to be your story. The real problem wasn't your kids, your schedule, or the laundry pile. It's broken strategy. The solution is not to hustle harder, it's to act smaller. So let's recap. You can now see the overcommitment trap for what it is. You're going to embrace tiny promises. You use that science-backed momentum to rebuild your confidence account. You stay connected to your dream with the 2-minute momentum method. Your dream isn't dead. It's just buried under an impossible to-do list. Let's dig it out, one tiny promise at a time.